Hello, today we're going to be going through my Cycle6 project. For this web application, I created a net worth calculator where the user can go in and input their assets and liabilities, and then also input their investments, and the investments will be calculated real-time value, and it'll spit out their net worth. So for this project, I used PHP admin to manage the database, and then PHP Storm to actually create the project. So what we're going to do is go through PHP Storm here and go through my code. So first we'll start with the connect.php page, and this just sets up the database configuration, the username, password, and then it tries the PDO instance, which logs the user in and creates the session variable, and then it also catches the PDO exception at the end so we don't get errors there. So next we'll go into the header, which is just a basic header that makes sure each page connects using the include connect.php. Then it gives it a simple HTML form with the title and then a logo there, and then also includes the nav bar to each page. And then the footer here gives the date and then just says net worth calculator, and then closes out the entire HTML document just to make sure that each page actually works properly. We can go into the index page. It includes the header here, and then it just introduces the web application and greets the user, and then this is dynamic content to determine if the person is actually logged in or not. It'll say logged in or log out or register if they have it. And then again, it uses the footer there. Next we'll go into, this is to actually log in. So the person can go in, it again uses the header, and it determines if the user's logged in or not and redirects to the dashboard. This sets the variables so they are initialized, and then this sanitizes it to make sure there's no SQL inputs there. And it just goes through, checks the PDO prepare, and then inserts the stuff or pulls it from the database here, and then it'll store it in a session variable and then redirects back to the dashboard so that it either logs in, and then it also catches these login errors, or it will actually log in. And this is the form for logging in. So they go in, again it's just the title, and it gives them the form so that they can log into the database or log into the application. This one a little bit more simple, it just logs everything out, like to keep it separated just to make things clear. So it's where the session is started and destroyed, and then it redirects them back to the login page here. So next we'll go to the actual register page. This is for when they want to sign up, they don't have an account, they want to register. Again, includes the header, and then this initializes these variables, and again more sanitation just in case, and then there's basic validation to check if the email has already been used or not. So it'll search through the database to make sure the username and email exists already, and then this will insert the new user once they add it into the database so that they can pull that and log in later. And then again, here's the form here, and it's just a basic form to gather their username, their name, and their email, and then the password as well that they can register with, and it has the input buttons there as well. And again, uses the footer. So now we'll go into the actual dashboard. This is what the user is using most of the time once they log in. This includes the functions and the header this time, so it can use the different functions that I've created. This redirects them if they're not logged in, and then this again initializes these variables here to use, and it handles the investment addition. So once the investment is added, this goes in and handles that, the addition to the calculation there. This is where some functions are called based on the crypto, and this is the actual API key that had to be put in there. So for that one is crypto, I had to use an API, which I'll get into with the functions. Next, it validates the fetch price and quantity and temporarily stores the investment in the session to display so that it doesn't have to pull it every single time. Again, these store the values locally. And then there's a success message if the person did successfully add a proper investment, or an error message just to catch those. Next, it goes through and prepares their net worth calculation, which goes through and initializes the total assets and liabilities to be added, and then it actually sums the assets and the liabilities. This is the form for it, just to get those ready, and then it adds it here, as you could see, and then it does the same thing for the liabilities to get each of those values independently, and then it includes the session stored investments in the total, so the investments that we had before are now finally added into the calculation. And then this one here calculates the actual net worth, and then this will update it in the session, and then it saves it to the database here and actually sends. So each net worth that they calculate, every time they hit that submit button, it's sent to the database, so then the next time they log in, it actually tells them how much their previous net worth was, and then that's what this is doing here, and displays the previous net worth. Then this is the form for it. Again, pretty basic form for it, creates the container for it, and it shows the add new investment with the different buttons, and then their current investments. It'll display each one that they put in there, which will be added to their calculation at the end. And then more form here for the assets and liabilities with the different labels and inputs. And then the submit button at the end includes the footer. So now we'll go into the functions. This all here was for the APIs, so I had to use two different APIs. Originally I used one, but it wasn't really working out well, and then the rate limit on it was like 15 uses per day, and I wanted to use it for both cryptocurrency and for the stock market, so that wasn't working out well, so I decided to use two. So for this first one, it's CoinGecko, and I just had to put this in, and it didn't require an API key. But then the next one here, this one is financialmodelingprep.com. This one did require the API key, so I had to just sign up and get the key there. It had much better rate limits. Okay, so again, this is just everything for the APIs to get the investments to pull up properly, because I wanted to do that in real time rather than just have the user input all of it. So now that we have all of that, let's actually launch this. Okay, I'll bring this over. So before we look at that, let's look at the databases. These are the two databases that I'm using. They're all in that CSCI 375 Vault 23. So this is the users table. As you can see, it's empty. And then we have the net worth calculations that goes in here. Again, that's empty. So we'll go in and we will. So this is the landing page, the index page for the web application. Just welcomes the user and then, explains it, and then you can log in or register. So say I wanted to log in, and I don't have anything. Obviously there's no account found. So what I need to do is I can either come back to the home and register, or I can hit register here. So we're gonna just use Mike, and then the password is gonna be Mike123. Register, and that opens that. This opens every time. That's just Google warning me it's not a good password. So we can go in here. Again, this is the user table. And you can see that's stored there. And then there's the password encryption as well to protect that a little bit. So we'll come back in, and there's also the log out just to show it. Show it logs out, come back to home, and then it shows that we actually logged in. So then we'll log in again, Mike123. Don't steal my password, it's a pretty good one. Go ahead again, we can log in. So we'll do the basic here. So these are all the assets and these are all the liabilities. Basically it's just adding up all these assets, subtracting the liabilities, and then adding in these investments. So we'll start with just this. So say I put 5 in here, a little 5 should be 10, and say you have $5 in credit card debt. Once I calculate the net worth, should show 5, and then it resets the form here. So if they want to put it in again, So then we'll go, you could see this is blank, then it popped up their net worth right here. It's 5. Adds these and it shows the calculation in the actual date for this, so that the next time the person, if I log out and log back in, it displays that. It'll show their current net worth. It just shows the most previous one that they inputted. So then we'll go and take a look at this here. So what this investment does is you go ahead and put either the stock symbol or the cryptocurrency symbol or the cryptocurrency name, and it goes through and it gives you the real-time value. So we'll start with Apple. Again, this was just say from before. So say I bought 2 shares of Apple, and then it's not a cryptocurrency. Goes through and it adds the investment there, 2 units at this, and it shows you the total. And then you see it's not added to the net worth yet. It just shows that it added this. And then say I went in and I did Apple 2, but I clicked that it was a crypto. Yeah, see it fails, doesn't work, but this is kept. And then let's go ahead and put Ethereum. Say it's 2 and I don't click this. Again, it's failed to fetch it. We'll do Ethereum again, which I'm not sure why for the API I couldn't put ETH. It specifically needed me to put the full name of the cryptocurrency. So that's one thing I definitely would try to change. Use an API that I could just put the symbol or the ticker, because it does work for the other one for the stock prices. So if I do 2 and then check that it is a cryptocurrency, it adds it, here. So then that's going to be, around $6,600. So say we add 20,000, and then this is here is 10,000. So it should, just be around 16,000, and goes through, calculate it, the 16,000 there, and then we can go back to this here, yeah, and it added it. So it's pretty cool. I've never messed around with APIs like that before, and I finally added the user interface there where they can go in and log in and stuff. We can log out here. Yeah, so it's really good. So if I were to improve this application, I definitely would add admin permissions to create just admin logins where they can go in and see the different investments that people are putting in, or just manage the users, and that would be nice. I also would have a better investment history, so maybe tracking it with graphs, so once the user logs in, they can go and see not just the most recent investment that they had, net worth, show maybe the past 5 or 10, and then show a graph showing their progress on that. And then, of course, I'd add better security. You always can improve a website by adding better security and better styling, of course. That's always something that can be improved on, maybe make it a little bit more dynamic. As of right now, let's see if I log in, I'll show you. Oh, if I could spell. Logs in, okay. So it does. It's a little bit dynamic, so it changes it. Goes down if you're on mobile. But other than that, I'd make it a little bit more enticing for a mobile user. But other than that, I appreciate that you watched through this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.